Happy Sunday. Well, today, and happy New Year's Eve day. So I thought we would bring in some of the season's stars and co-stars, and then one just for fun. So we will look at these in a moment. I've got Christ decks, Divine Feminine, Mary Magdalene decks, and then the dog wisdom that's just to have fun. Okay, so here we are, last day of the month and the year. What are you going to do tonight? I know, I just broke my nail. I know I'll be in sacred ritual. I am not the one that's going out, not that I'm judging, but for me, it's not about drinking or going out and whatever. For me, it's about being in sacred space. So I will be doing a whole cleansing ritual. For those of you that will be home, you might want to join me. Join me. I was just going to say I do a sacred bath. No, I don't need you to join me for that one. But I do a sacred bath where I have oils and candles and I'm cleansing myself first. And then I start to look at making my lists. We've talked about that a lot. And really making our list to look at what's important for the new year, looking in all areas of my life, for me, and your life for you, and just looking at that. And then I draw my cards for the new year. What is the new year going to bring for me? And, what's the major themes? You can pull tarot, you can just channel or meditate on it or journal. What are the main themes that are coming for you this year? So that is very, very important. And then sometimes I just like to journal my gratitude for the year and for my higher self and for my team, thanking my team for what it's brought to me. Because if we didn't have our spiritual team managing everything and really giving us guidance, where would we be, right? So we need to be in a place where we can recognize that without them, we can't do it. Many times the masters have said without us, they can't do everything because they're not in physical form. They have to work through us, and that is very important. So remembering that and saying thank you, maybe creating a new altar because you're getting ready to go into a new year, putting some of those things to rest that have been on your altar. You might want to put a new scarf on it or start to put some of the beings on there that you work with, or just looking at, some of the things you want to bring in. So if you're trying to bring in a more toned body, you might have a picture of somebody very toned on there. Or you're wanting to make more money, you have something that represents finances to you. So take your time. Don't rush through it. You might start it today or tonight and then work your way through it this week. Really give it some thought. And if you're putting some of the same things back on your altar, cleanse them. Wipe them off, clean them, wash them if you can, and then put them back in with fresh new energy. And that should be really good for you. So think about it, and if you're going out tonight, you might have some time today, a couple hours today to do this, that you're just doing something for you. And then clearing away space. I give up control. I give up whatever else you're giving up. Lack of forgiveness or whatever. And by doing that, we're making space. We're getting rid of things so the new can come in. And that's what I wanted to say to you. So here we go, and welcome in 2024 at midnight tonight, or if you're watching from some other location in your time. So we're going to start with the star of the show at this time of year, the Christ Consciousness. This is by Amanda Ellis, and they're very long. That's my only complaint. I love these, but they're very long. So what does everybody need to know on this last day of December 2023? Stand up, steadfast vision. So look at this, stand up. I'm hearing that song, stand up for your rights. But look at that, holding the light in the crowd of people. Everybody gathered together, holding the light, believing. Okay, let's see what number this is. I hate when they put numbers on here that are in pastels. They're very hard to read. Okay. Stand up. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you don't have an index here. Oh, there you are. All right. Okay. Jesus, through his ministry, had frequent occasions when he directly challenged the status quo and rulings of the day. Excuse me. He did so when he felt they were unjust and outdated, knowing that new times required new ways. He was not apathetic or timid. He spoke out in radical ways, triggering, although not his intention, those who refused to listen or entertain his teachings. Right now, you may be feeling compelled to stand up for an injustice or cause that you hold dear. You may struggle to see the operation, inequality, and poverty in the world and think, what can I do? Yet we are all more powerful than we imagine. And when we lend our voice, presence, and support to something worthwhile, we help many. Often we wait for someone else to make the first move, but even if no one else joins you, it builds your sense of who and what you are, impacting your legacy left for future generations. Wow. Think about what troubles you. It may be environmental, political, social, or something that you have experienced firsthand. You may have been shunned or misunderstood, violated or judged for something you hold true. It takes bravery to speak up and be seen, but like Jesus, it can create waves that can lead to extraordinary change if we are brave enough to stand up. You know, I often think about that. Back in the 60s, gosh, we stood up for everything. We were in sit-ins, protests, everything. And I often wonder, I mean, it is coming back now, but doing it in a way, we did peaceful protests where we just wanted to make a difference by showing up. And I think sometimes now people are so exhausted, they just don't have any energy to show up. But this is a nice reminder. Everything can be peacefully done. You will find there are others who share the vision of a better world, and support of being with like-minded people at this time is helpful. A gathering of your soul tribe can happen online or in person and will make you feel a sense of belonging. You may have felt quite alone and isolated, feeling as though few see the world as you do. And in truth, to be sensitive and empathic is to care deeply compared to those who turn a blind eye. You are here to make a difference, to be an advocate for light, and to not be afraid, knowing you are protected and held as you endeavor to make positive difference. This card is also a nod to unity and coming together around a centralized point, be that peace, remembered freedom, or something else. Solidarity, steadfastness, and being together as one holds the promise Jesus taught of, where two or more are gathered in my name, miracles can happen. This may also be a time that your unhealed aspects are being illuminated. This may have been stirred up during current stories in the collective media, victims of abuse, women's rights, sexual identity, radical inequality. A highlighted story can touch us and help identify a story, experience, or pain that needs to be heard and healed in us. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. In the first chapter of John's Gospel, identifies the light that you have within you, that you can heal anything brought out of the shadow, as well as bringing understanding and peace. Being around positive, motivated, uplifting people will also be beneficial at this time, and those seeking to derail or thwart your path, and light via words, thoughts, or deeds. It may be advisable to review the company that you keep, but if you're needing to be around these, for example, with draining energy, ensure you are spiritually shielded. You may be able to inspire them, and remember that we can't force or change anyone against their will. Just demonstrate loving action and change, which others can follow or not via their free will. What a great card, especially this time of year. Increasing the light. Love it. Next one are the Mary Magdalene. What's wrong with me? Mary Magdalene Oracle. Okay. Love the sign on the back, symbol on the back of these cards. I have a brass replica of this that I got in France in one of her places. It represents her. So Mary Magdalene just hopped a card out. Resurrection. The ego dies and the soul rises. And this says, resurrect in this life. So to me, this is ascension. The earth and the people ascending, going higher states of awareness and consciousness, for sure. Okay, I guess they're just alphabetical. I'm not going to read the quote from the Bible. I'm just going to read, resurrection here is not about what comes in the next life. Resurrection is about what we can practice right now in this body, in this life. We can awaken to the potential of transformation with every tragedy or disappointment or loss in life, and see everything that happens as a chance for the soul to rise. We can see each death we go through as a chance to resurrect more entirely present to the soul of love within. Die to what the ego tells you that you have to do, or what you have to be, or who you should have loved, or who you should have left. Die to the ego telling you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not right. Let this vision you had a long time ago for your life. Die to the ego telling you it's too late, you're too old, too young, not educated enough to live straight from your heart. Die to the voice of the ego and let the soul resurrect only ever louder. And the question is, what egoic thought can I let go of in this moment? Wow. So it's telling us we're at the last day of the year. What can we let go of so next year we can rise up? The Magdalene Oracle. Of course, we got Magdalene. Love it. So we've got Christ, we got resurrection, and Magdalene. Well, I guess this isn't alphabetical. Okay. should have known better. Hold on. Oh, okay. Go forth and be true to yourself. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is the creation that you exist in a world full of dreams that stem from your heart. In oneness, love and hatred, wonder and awe, softness and pain, joy and light. In the stillness, the unknown awaits. Avoid wanting to be filled. Step into it with courage and strength. Like a budding rose reaching for the light, love will lead you to greener pastures. Amen to that. She's all about unconditional love. She is his divine partner. Okay, last one, divine dog wisdom. Thought we'd end on a cute note here. Whoop, I'm making a mess. Come on. There we go. What dog card do we need? What dog card do we need on this last day of the last month of this year? All right. One fell out. Vulnerability, the strength to show yourself. How often do you see dogs lay on their back and show their belly? Vulnerability. It says what it's meant if you fetch this card today. If you fetch this card, it means you're either already feeling vulnerable and licking wounds or needing to explore vulnerability, an asset for assessing more abundant energy and better relations. Through vulnerability, though vulnerability has been thought to be the opposite of strength, vulnerability itself can be strength. When you decide to make yourself more genuinely available to those in your pack who care about you and your well-being. Letting them know how you're feeling and what you might be needing empowers them to give what they can and want to give you. This allows them to fulfill their need to give and serve. Sometimes protection is necessary when one is healing, attacked, or violently confronted in some way. Yet over self-protectiveness can make one lonely, and it can take a lot of energy to maintain when you're not really confident or courageous. Bullies and bad dogs snap or strike out to hide their own vulnerability or fear of being attacked. That's Ben for sure when he goes to the groomers. When you don't try to hide your emotions or what some might regard as your weaknesses, you let others know they too don't need to hide. They can be real, and that they can generate less defensiveness. If you're licking your wounds from a real or perceived affront to life, limb, or ego, you may want to take stock of what really happened. Did you attract an attacker by being vulnerable? Did you put your best paw forward, hoping for a different response than you received, and then feel vulnerable when the outcome was different than expected? What's important here is the learning about when, with whom, and how to show vulnerability in a way that it serves you and others. Being vulnerable is a part of being all of who you are, no matter whose fur is up or down. Another bone to chew on. Identify where in your life more vulnerability might bring you closer to someone you've wanted a better connection with. Tell them some secrets about yourself and ask if they'd like to share any. With your loved ones and others, spend more time telling them what you appreciate and love about them rather than criticizing them. Criticism can be a defense against vulnerability and connection. Once you stop it, you allow more space to be filled with love. So this last day and then moving into the first week of January, we're showing our light. We're letting go of whatever the ego tells us. We're bringing more love in and more vulnerability. Happy New Year to all of you.